upon the Minister for Rural and Maritime Development and Disaster Management, the Honourable Sakias Ditoka, to make his contribution. The floor is yours, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to contribute to the debate on the 2023-2024 budget, which was delivered by the Honourable Minister of Finance, Strategic Planning, National Development and Statistics on 30th July 2023. This is the budget for the new Fiji. Let me begin by saying that the most valuable lesson that the Fiji First Party has given Fiji is how not to run government. Out of everything that they lay claim to, that they've left us behind as an inheritance, out of all of them, that is the most valuable. How not to run government. Mr. Speaker, sir, I commend the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Finance for delivering what I termed as a transparent and inclusive budget, with well thought out budget policies to grow the economy, assisting the vulnerable, improving livelihoods, improving basic infrastructure, and maintaining government assets that have been forgotten or ignored in the last 16 years, as the previous government was just trudging along since 2006 in survival firefighting mode, rather than taking care of the very people that voted them into power. The Fiji First government was either unwilling or unable to do anything other than move from crisis to crisis, because they refused to consult those who might have been able to help them. One of the lessons of leadership that I learned as a young subaltern is that a good leader should be able to discern good advice from the bad. And once that said advice is received, a leader needs to act swiftly, because the lives of people under his or her leadership depends on it. That lesson, sir, is applicable in all facets of life, including the sacred duty of leading our people towards a prosperous future, whether it be at village or local community level or at the national level. Honourable Speaker, sir, I also thought it pertinent to observe that by just delivering the budget address on time speaks volumes of the People's Coalition government's commitment to correct the many mistakes that become the norm of the previous government. Parliamentarians having to wait for more than 1 hour in the night for the former Minister for Economy in this chamber to deliver his budget address was a complete abuse of the process. This side of the House commits itself never to follow that road of tyranny and bullying. On this side of the House, we will commit to take note of the concerns of all members of our great nation, and that, sir, includes the honourable members on the opposite side of the House. Mr. Speaker, sir, from the start, the People's Coalition aims to attain improvements in accountability and government performance by combining transparency with an invitation for nationwide participation so that stakeholders can contribute ideas and information to the public sector. Transparency is a means to strengthening governance. The successful 2 days National Economic Summit, the re-establishment of the Fiscal Review Committee, pre- and post-budget consultations were just part and parcel of the People's Coalition's commitment to uphold a transparent process where everyone is involved. Fiscal transparency was the operational word. Unlike the previous administration for the past 16 years, only the two would control the entire process, and everyone sitting across them would have to wait patiently to receive what was offered by them. A totally undemocratic process they tried to sugarcoat with handouts and giveaways, treating the people of Fiji like little children as they smashed through the norms of good parliamentary procedure to achieve what they wanted. Mr. Speaker, sir, with the coalition government, there was no secrecy in the entire process. The Minister for Finance was openly discussing the needs to increase value-added tax to supplement our below-par revenue performance. This was backed by the Fiscal Review Committee after carefully assessing the available data both from the Fiji Revenue and Customs Service and Fiji Bureau of Statistics and the input gathered from the various public consultations across Fiji. Nothing was hidden from the taxpayers of this country. We preached it and we are living by it. Mr. Speaker, sir, the official poverty rate is 24.1%, equating to 208,000 people who live below the poverty line. As confirmed by the latest release from the Fiji Bureau of Statistics, 75% of those that live below the poverty line are Ditoka, which is approximately 156,000 people, and the other 25%, which is approximately 52,000 people, belongs to other races. In other words, 18% of Tokay are poor, and other races constitute the remaining 6.1%. What do these statistics mean? The previous government had failed to empower every Fiji citizen in order to improve their livelihoods, but instead provided handouts which temporarily addressed the symptoms of poverty and left the roots of it very much intact. That is why the poverty rate had increased. The People's Coalition will work towards reducing the poverty rate through sustainable policies and resilient infrastructures. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry of Rural and Maritime Development and Disaster Management has been allocated $29.1 million in the new financial year, which is an increase of $14.1 million from this financial year's budget. The major expenditures, including the re-establishment of the Rural Housing Program, which is budgeted at $3.2 million, and rural and outer island development at a tune of $2.6 million. The new housing schemes will be rolled out to our rural dwellers who meet the criteria set out by the Ministry. On the other hand, the Ministry will work with other stakeholders to construct related infrastructures in the rural space to improve livelihoods, facilitate trade, improve transportation, and expand agricultural commodities, which will all be funded under the Rural and Outer Island Program.